we got out to seek refuge to the outside world, I saw a mirror and I stopped. I looked at myself in the mirror. And the only thing that was illuminating myself was the little light from the moon coming from a very small space from the window. And I looked at myself in the mirror and asked, what will my life be after this? Like, who will I be after this? We were in the local festival and I wanted to answer the call of nature. I wanted to pee and there was a power outage. So I didn't have a phone or a flashlight that time. And we opted up for a candle. And my little cousin volunteered to be with me to the toilet. And we didn't know that time that there was a leak, like an LPG leak or a methane leak. And as we were inside the toilet, I was finishing my business. Suddenly, the entire toilet blew up, and all I saw was flames. And what I felt was a burning sensation that was indescribable. I do not know how to put it into words and to describe it. I think painful would be an understatement. What was going on in my head while we were in the toilet was, I really can't remember. There was nothing specific, but I wanted to alleviate the pain. And I saw a bucket of water on the left corner of the toilet. Because it was so painful, I dipped my head in it in hopes that when I resurface, I will wake up. Because like, bro, like this only happens in the movies, right? Like this was just a really, really bad dream, right? But when I took my head off from the bucket of water, when I resurfaced, it was real. We were there and we were actually burning. And we tried to find ways to get out of the toilet and we miraculously got out. That was my cousin's doing, I'd say. She got us out of the comfort room. And apparently it's because of the way the door was built. Like the human tendency when you get trapped in something is to bang the door, right? But the opening was towards inside the door. Yeah, so that got us trapped. And maybe there was like a little opening that my cousin did, and then we got out. And when we got out to seek refuge to the outside world, I saw a mirror and I stopped. I looked at myself in the mirror. And the only thing that was illuminating myself was the little light from the moon coming from a very small space from the window. And I looked at myself in the mirror and asked, what will my life be after this? Like, who will I be after this?
Watching a few of your TikTok videos yesterday, and I came across a video that made me cry actually, and I sent it to Lynn. And you touched on this earlier briefly, that for years, you said for 8 years, you hid behind a mask and cardigan, and you were basically covering yourself up. And then now you just decided you were done, right? I guess I'm curious to know what prompted this decision to say enough. I'm no longer hiding behind these masks or anything. I want to liberate myself from this.
Right, that's a nice question. Thank you for asking that question. Do not want to say that there was a specific moment in time where I just woke up and said, hey, I don't want this anymore. I think it was more of a progression. It started like seeds of me wanting to be liberated by the constraints of like masks and cardigans, which today I symbolize as like societal imposed limitations on what I should look like. I think that seed was planted in me, started getting conceived when I was 17. It was when I started like browsing through the internet and looking at other people who went through the same thing. So like hashtags and stuff, I searched through that, other burn survivors. And I saw one person modeling her scars, her burn scars. It wasn't as grave as my scars, but it was something like you modeling your scars. And to me, that was like inconceivable. That was such a wonderful thing to do that I think I cannot do. Like I don't have the capacity to do that right now when I was 17 years old. And I think like what you said, like modeling in a sense, like seeing someone who you aspire to be, someone who went through the same thing. And like what we did earlier before we started the podcast, like proper, you said that you are inspired to give people like someone that can look and say, hey, she did that, so I can do too. And I think that's what planted the seed. And along the way, it was the constant reassurance and empowerment of my friends and my family that they kind of like embodied without me realizing that they embodied me being more than a face, being more than my scars.
What message do you want to give your older self?
That I'm proud of you and thank you for doing the things that you do.
Yeah. When She Talks was formed and founded, it was with the hopes and aspiration of making sure that girls find role models to look up to. And I'm certainly glad to see that the world is giving us the next set of superheroes that our children will be looking up to as they grow up. And you are certainly one of them.